How's it going, guys? Prince of Greece here, and I've got another battle replay for you. And this time, I'm in command of the Kush army, and my opponent is Rome. And in terms of our armies, I brought 4 Kushite slave infantry as my sort of meat shield, I'll call them. I brought 5 armored Shotel warriors, as well as a regular Shotel warrior. I have 4 Kushite archers, 2 disciples of Apodemek, which are like a very light kind of shock infantry, and then I brought a Kushite royal guard as my general, and 2 armored desert cav, as well as my desert chariots. And in terms of the enemy composition here, he's got quite a strong, skirmish army that I didn't actually really expect from him. So he brought he's got at least 2 auxiliary Syrian archers. There's 3. He's got 3 auxiliary Syrians, and then I believe he has either this 1 or 2 auxiliary Balearics. His backline is made up of Praetorians, and as well as 1 Praetorian guard. And then his front line is 5 Hastati, with 2 Praetorian cav, 2 Soci Equites Extraordinari, and a Legatus. So, let's go here. I saw him pick Rome, and honestly, I've had so many people lately have been going against so many Roman infantry spams. It feels like in terms of the game at this point, you know, I feel like so many more people are playing Rome, at least the people that I've encountered. Which, I mean, Rome's a pretty good faction to pick if you just kind of want to win, you know. I like to play the more flavorful factions, I'll call them. The ones that, you know, aren't just, hey. I like to play the ones that are a bit more harder to execute, and the ones that I really like to play are that way. And that's just kind of the way I am. But anyway, so he's moving up his skirmisher line here. He's moving up into this forest. And I'm going to kind of see if I can match him here. My 4, he has a skirmishing advantage. A pretty decent skirmishing advantage here. His Balearic slingers and his Syrian archers are going to probably beat my Kushite archers. Not, like, super bad, but they will probably beat them. Especially, the Syrian archers are pretty on par. The thing about the Syrian archers is they have more... They have higher armor than my archers do. I mean, my archers don't have armor. My royal archer counterparts probably would be able to match these guys pretty well, but in terms of attack, I've got them good, but in terms of armor, I don't. So, are you going to see? I'm going to move up my archers here, see if I can get them decently in range. And this front line of Kushite slave infantry is actually really important. It gives me a strategic tool here. These slave infantry have javelins, which is super nice. It's incredibly nice that they have javelins. So, you know, depending on what targets I can get for my slave infantry to use their javelins on, it could work out really well in my favor. And you can see that here the skirmishing begins in earnest.
As you say.
So, yeah, and then you see me, I instantly push my front line of slave infantry, and you can see he gets a little antsy about that. He moves up his infantry very, very fast, and you can see the sort of skirmishing battle lines have been drawn now. His Balearic slingers are just absolutely wailing on one of my archer units, and you can see it starts to rout. So I'm at a pretty heavy skirmish disadvantage here. You can see I'm starting to win on this flank, but it's really, honestly, not going to really be enough. I'm just getting pelted here, and he rapid advances his Hastati here, and so I just moved my slave infantry back here. And what you'll see from this is there's going to be a lot of this. There's going to be a lot of this this sort of playing with our front lines here. You know, he's gonna keep his Astati here, but you see I'm gonna I'm going to sort of try to mind game him. I'm trying to goad him into an attack here. I'm trying to get him into a bad position. You see that my archers on the flank here actually start to waver. Get some of these auxiliary Syrians to start wavering, but honestly, he's already decimated 2 of my archer units on the flank. And now I'm laying into his Balearic Slingers. Those guys are brutal. It's not even really his Syrian archers here that are the issue. You see, I move even closer in.
Forever loyal.
And you see some of my guys here, I think, throw a round or 2 of javelins at these skirmishers. I can't remember, though. And then you see I move up my main line, which is made up of armored Shotel warriors. So, I mean, you know, I didn't get absolutely destroyed in the skirmishing. Well, I kind of did. I definitely lost the skirmishing battle, but for the moment he's not doing that. And you see, in response to this, I move my desert chariots off to the side, and he's going to respond with these Praetorian cav.
Find your targets.
So, yeah, I was like, you know what? If he's just going to sit his cav there, I'm going to get some good shots in. So, I move up my desert chariots. And they're gonna get some shots in on those Praetorian cav. The thing about the Praetorian cav is they are very heavily armored, and so the shot of me actually getting any kills here, pretty low. And you see he starts to chase. He starts to give chase, so I give my chariots back, and you'll see I'm gonna move 2 of these to my 2 armored desert cav here to move and support here, because I really don't. My desert chariots won't do very good against heavy melee cav. And you can see here he's really just intent on finishing off my archers, and really honestly, I let those Shotel warriors take too much damage. Is really what happened. It's not a huge deal, but the thing is with how much heavy infantry he has, with all of his heavyweight infantry, those Praetorian guards and Praetorians, you know, it's going to be a struggle for me at this point. I've lost all my archers. I moved my my disciples here to the left flank because I really want to be able to win one flank of this engagement at least. You know, I want to be able to try and get a decisive charge somewhere, one that's going to really break him. You know, and you see me. You can just see me here. I'm trying very, very, very hard to goad him into something. You know, to try and get him. I really want him to make the first move if I can. But he's really, really, really not taking the bait. You see, I bring in my chariots here just to scare off some of the skirmishers. They're using some ammo there. They're not going to get much. And we'll need to keep a good eye on those chariots because they're pretty important to the battle. And I took a pretty big risk bringing them. But what you'll see here is I'm moving up my infantry now. And this time I'm not really intent on giving any ground. This mind game has been being played for a little while at this point. And so he moves his skirmish line back, and you see I move up my main line. So I'm thinking that now I think the only thing I really have, obviously because I don't have any skirmishers, is I'm going to need to get into melee combat. I mean, I've exhausted my skirmish line, and this is a big mistake for me right here. I take 2 chariot losses here. And since his skirmishers don't have another good target, yeah. So what you'll see here is you're going to see a big engagement there. I kill quite a bit of his Hastati with some, and then I pull right off. He expected to sort of deflect the charge there, but I actually did get a charge with my Kushite slave infantry here, which are going to absolutely get demolished by Praetorian Guard. Don't get me wrong, but they sort of pad the charge for my armored Shotel warriors to really get in there and do some damage. And if my Shotel warriors are left alone here, they will perform really well. They will perform quite well. So I get the engagement I want. I get them into shield wall. And this is kind of what I really want, but you see his skirmishers, I was so busy microing here on the front line that he routed my chariots. I mean, I literally got no value out of those chariots. Those chariots didn't get a single kill. So that was super disappointing. But you see, I've got 3 different engagements here on the front line, and I'm pretty confident about them. I'm confident just letting them play out. Absolutely confident. These Praetorians here are getting pretty getting slobber knockered. So I've got my disciples on this flank here, so I'm going to move my cavalry, my strong side cavalry, onto his right flank here. And you see, we're going to start this in earnest here. I got my slave infantry going toe-to-toe with some Hastati. And I get all my men into shield wall here immediately, the instant they enter combat. And this is going to be a very large slugfest. Going to be a big-time slugfest on the front line here. The Roman infantry, I'm hoping that the shield wall is really going to help me out here, because the Roman infantry, just in general, is really good at these long, drawn-out slugfests. But you can see he's going to move his Soki Equites here. I'm going to move a Disciple, and I'm going to get a countercharge here. But I didn't get what I wanted on the flank here. I really didn't. I didn't expect the Roman to bring so much cav. I really expected an infantry spin. So I moved these Disciples in here, and, you know, they really got a crappy charge. And really, these Disciples are not going to get... You're not going to get any value out of them, really, unless you get a very solid charge. And if I would have gotten an amazing charge on these guys, like on their rear or something, I would have broken these Praetorians almost instantly, I guarantee you. So as the slug-out fights are just going on the rears, I've got my Desert Cav here, just trying to break through desperately, because I need to break through on one of these flanks. He's moving all of his cav to this flank, to this left side flank over here. So it's looking pretty interesting on this flank here. My Kushite slave infantry finally routed there. I got some Shotel warriors and some of my disciples here going at these Praetorians. Honestly, that's terrible kills for the disciples, considering how expensive of units they are. I did not get clean charges on them at all. But in terms of the frontline engagement here, it's going okay. It's going really good in some places. I actually broke through right here. And these Hastati here, their lines are kind of breaking, but my armored Shotel warriors here are pretty exhausted. Once again here, I'm actually doing okay in this engagement. I'm gonna end up grinding. I will grind out these Praetorians if they give me the chance. But the thing is that he's tried to get a cavalry charge here on my general, and I intercepted with 2 of my armored Desert Cav. And to be quite honest with you, not gonna win that engagement. My armored Desert Cav are just... We're not gonna win that engagement. You see, these disciples here are gonna break these Hastati. I sure would hope so. That's just a very low tier unit. And you can see my disciples are getting grinded out here. And what I really needed to do is I needed to pull them out. So you see I broke through here. And I immediately tried to get them into this other Praetorian. I wanted to start a huge rout. I wanted to be able to rout all of his infantry here and then run him down. Some of my slave infantry, I got back here into some of their skirmishers. But it's just slave infantry, I mean, and their morale is so terrible that they're not going to break. There's a huge cavalry fight going on back here. And I really want to break their front line, the Roman front line here, because I'm not going to win. This is a fight I'm not going to win. My armored Desert Cav are lower quality than the Praetorian Cav, and my Royal Guard will stand up to them just fine, but I only have 1 unit of it. So it's not gonna go well for me. So I'm really on a time limit here. The issue is that I cannot grind through these Praetorians fast enough. It's just not happening. So I pull my disciples out in an attempt to get another decent charge here. I'm gonna try to get a rear charge on these Praetorians, but honestly, it's just too late at this point. He's got his Legatus coming in here. And the disciples actually get a decent charge and get quite a few kills here. But honestly, it's just too late, and you know they're looking to rout. I just don't have the numbers anymore. My right flank is completely gone. My disciples got wasted on this. Got absolutely wasted on this flank, and I did not use them to their full effect. And they were, whenever I take those units, those are my, game-breaking units. Those are the units that are going to win me the game, if I'm going to win. So you can see right here, my infantry have basically routed. His Praetorians are beat up and battered but they still stand. So now it is basically just my general against all of his cav here, and I'm pretty much routed. The Roman player, he pretty much beat me from higher quality. He had higher quality infantry. He had higher quality cavalry. I didn't expect him to take as much cavalry. He basically just had higher quality units than me across the board. I would say I had an infantry advantage if I could get those disciples into a favorable fight, but I wasn't able to. The one good charge I got was through my own infantry, and it wasn't the only actual charge I got with them. I didn't get around their flank, which was really sad, and kind of cost me, as well as my inability to effectively use my chariots. That was also really disappointing. So, my enemy here, he capitalized on some pretty big mistakes, and I honestly got to say that that's important. He capitalized on the mistakes I made, and well played to him. It was pretty hard fought, and it was actually somewhat close. I got rid of some of his units, but wasn't quite enough. So anyway, that's another battle replay, and I want to know kind of like what you guys are thinking about this. So leave a comment, all that stuff. If you liked it, if you disliked it, let me know. I don't even care. Comments are comments. Let me know what I can do better, what you want to see, anything like that. So this is Prince of Greece, and I'm signing out for now.